This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Dice.com. Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Buffalo. This is the show where you can ask me, John Rettinger, any question you've got from the wide world of technology. Don't know what phone to get, can't make sense of all the tablets out there, don't know what operating system is best for you? This is the place you can ask. Up this week on Ask the Buffalo, we're going to talk all about new phones, what's coming out and which one best suits you, what it's like to run a tech website, and a few fun things in between. This is Ask the Buffalo. Let's go and get started. User Gifted Soul asked, "Hey John, I'm looking to switch to Verizon in November, and by that time, Windows Phone 8 will be out. How do you think the flagship devices such as HTC Windows Phone 8X and Lumia 920 will stack up against the iPhone 5 outside of app selection?" First, I'm glad you put that caveat. Outside of app selection is huge. The HTC 8X and Lumia 920 look absolutely awesome, and for very much the same reasons. Bright colors, pretty badass Windows Phone 8 operating system. I love the live tiles. I am really excited about Windows Phone 8. When it comes to deciding between which one's right for you, it's sort of half dozen of another. They're both great choices. If you want a bigger screen, Lumia 920. If you want way more color choices, HTC 8X. Really, they're both known for tremendous build quality, and they're spec'd pretty close to similar. And so how does it stack up against the iPhone 5? Can't answer that until I get the devices in my hands. But I will say that Windows Phone has stacked up very nicely to previous versions of the iPhone, so I'd expect Windows Phone 8 to be no different. Michael Austin asks, "Hey John, I'm wondering whether I should buy an unlocked Note 2 or wait and buy it from my carrier with LTE. I live in Canada with Bell." And so that's a tough choice with pros and cons. You can always buy devices unlocked, usually weeks or months before they come to your carrier. And that's great to get the devices soon. You're not stuck into a contract because you didn't pay a subsidy for the phone. But generally, you are going to pay a huge premium for it. A $200 phone on contract generally is going to retail unlocked for close to $600-700. So there's a huge price difference. And especially in the US or in Canada, sometimes the phones that you're importing don't have support for LTE bands. Usually, and actually almost always, you now get HSPA Plus support, but you're not always going to have LTE on board. It's really going to be what's important to you. If you've got the cash to spare and you want the hot phone right away, buying unlocked is wonderful, especially if you buy from a reputable retailer. We put up a video last week about a fake Galaxy S3. You really want to make sure you're buying from a reputable site. So on the con side of that, again, you're going to be paying a lot of money. You might not get support from your carrier. If the device breaks, you got to take it into a store. You can't just take it to your AT&T store, your Bell store, your Telus store, or Rogers, whatever it might be, to have them fix it because they didn't get it for you. Also, you got to input something that's called APN settings. Essentially what APN settings do is they make the phone's data work with your cell carrier. You can pop in a SIM card and make phone calls, no problem. But if you want to use data, you have to be comfortable going in and putting in those settings. Pretty easy to do. Do a quick Google search, and usually you can find step-by-step instructions. But if you're not comfortable doing things like that, then you might want to stick for a carrier phone. For me, I love getting my hands on new devices, but it can be quite expensive. So one thing to consider, buy a device unlocked until it's coming out on your carrier, then sell it. Usually only be down maybe $100-200, and you can still get that support for the next generation phone. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Freddie D asks, "John, are you concerned about LG Nexus or Mako being made by LG? If not, explain why, please. I want a magnificent device from them personally." So Freddie, no, I'm not really concerned about it being made by LG, and I can know what you're talking about. Some folks are concerned about LG's build quality. LG makes awesome displays. Their displays are absolutely gorgeous, and I expect that to really be a flagship point of the next Nexus, the Nexus 4, whatever they decide to call it. Although I'll reserve judgment until I get a chance to see it. But if other rumors hold true, that won't be the only Nexus device you can choose from. Rumors of a 5-inch Nexus 5 are swirling around like crazy. We're also hearing that it might be 3 other Nexus versions. So if you're looking for that pure Android experience, and those are devices I really recommend because they do get software upgrades, wait a couple more weeks. Looks like your prayers might be answered. So let me take a quick moment to thank our friends and sponsors at Dice.com. If you've been itching to get into the tech world, but not sure how to do it, folks at Dice.com have your answer. Dice.com is the career hub for tech. For over 20 years, they've been helping connect technology professionals to highly targeted competitive jobs they seek. Not only that, they have a good sense of humor because finding a job can always be fun. Take a look at this clip from the Dice.com Tech Job Mega Show. So it looks pretty fun, right? To see the full clip, go to youtube.com/dice. You can also browse Dice's huge database of job postings right now to find the perfect job for you. Go to dice.com and see for yourself. If you want to get in the tech field, it's a great way to see all the jobs that'll suit your qualifications. HTML Knight asks, what are the pros and cons of starting a tech review site? So that's a tough question. The pros are certainly, if you love technology, you get to live your dream. You get to play with the latest and greatest devices the minute they come out, sometimes even before they come out, and you get to help share your opinion, and you get to help determine devices' success or failures, and you're helping people buy the right products. So there can also be a lot of cons as well from running a tech site. For example, when we first tried to launch at the end of 2009, we had just a little bit of money. We launched the site and then it crashed miserably within 45 seconds. We had to go through and do recoding and burn through all of our startup capital to get it up and running, and we did at the very end of 2009, early 2010. And that couple months of anxiety in there between the crash and when we came back up led to me having sleep anxiety. I've developed a huge sleep disorder, so there's a lot of stress that go into running your own site. One advice I can give is treat a site like a business. Treat your readers like customers. You might not have a physical product to give them, but you still have a supply chain. You want to make sure that from article idea to article publication, you're running very smoothly. Like any business, identify bottlenecks and try and put out the best product you can. There are really high barriers to entry, at least being successful. Anybody can, of course, create a website. It's very, very crowded out there. So if you want to create a website, find a niche, find something that you do that's unique, or something about you that you can bring that nobody else can. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm your host, John Rettinger. Be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com for latest and greatest tech news. See you in the next video.